So to cut to the chase, The Odyssey is the new Chris Nolan film, and I loved it. That's my very initial thing on it. What's your...
You've seen it twice.
Yes, I'm seeing it a third time tonight.
Jesus.
And a fourth time on Wednesday in IMAX. I'm seeing it in IMAX on Wednesday.
Yeah, so I'm a huge classics nerd, so I was always going to love it, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We're also coming at this from two very different standpoints. As like, I would still say, yes, I am a Nolan fan. I would still say that, although I think the last decade was a very rough time. And I was saying that, like, from Inception, which I think was his peak, which is the film that got me into wanting to be a director. It was just a slow descent for me in terms of what I thought. Like, Dark Knight Rises is, it's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Interstellar, I think it's rubbish. And I know it's a very bold statement to say. I think, yes, it's a gorgeous looking film with great cinematography and an amazing score, but I think it's absolutely naff story wise, and like it's so cheesy and corny. And I think people
Cornfield Chase. Cornfield Chase.
Cornfield Chase.
Corn.
And then Dunkirk, I thought was bad.
I remember
Boring.
seeing Dunkirk in cinema. I think I must have been like 14, 15.
It came out in 2017. So
oh God, I was way older than that. But I just remember coming out and be like, I don't remember a single thing that happened.
And I remember saying that, and I'll leave links in the description for all my Chris Nolan reviews because I've talked about all of them, barring Tenet, online. But I remember it's like an hour and 47, and it dragged so much, which in contrast to Oppenheimer being 3 hours long, and that film went by so quickly.
That film flew, yeah.
And then Tenet came out after Dunkirk, and I did not like Tenet as well. So for a while, Nolan was like, right, I think from like the 2000s, he was my favorite filmmaker. And then in the 2010s, I'm just really not feeling you right now.
I have to admit, I haven't seen Tenet.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's not. It's my least favorite Nolan film.
Okay.
So you could miss that one. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer, watched it. I'm like, oh, he's back. I wasn't in love with Oppenheimer as much as everyone else was in love with it, but I was happy that I really liked a Chris Nolan film again.
I have a major gripe with Oppenheimer, and I think you know what I'm going to say, which is in the first 20 minutes, there's a title card that says Chapter 1. And we never have a chapter card again.
Is it?
Yeah, I promise you.
An area,
But yeah, we get like a title card being like Chapter 1, something and something and something.
Yeah.
And then we never get one again for the rest of the film. It's like we're not getting a sequel.
Tuenheimer.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no idea why it happened.
Yeah,
I feel like
no,
they just maybe forgot to take out in the edit.
No. But when it was announced that Nolan's next film was going to be The Odyssey, I knew I'm going to watch it anyway because it's a Nolan film and I'm going to see it. But because of Oppenheimer being a film that I actually liked a lot, I was like, okay, if we didn't get Oppenheimer and he was like, oh, I'm doing The Odyssey, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a really long spectacle film with no storyline. But then Oppenheimer came along and I'm like, oh, he did a spectacle film but about a character. So I'm like, okay, he's back in my good graces. I don't know The Odyssey. So I'm like, sure, it's going to be a big, grand, ancient Greek epic. And yeah. And I don't think I was necessarily hyped, but I was looking forward to seeing a new Nolan film. Literally. And again, I wasn't instantly sold with this film going, like, watching it, but I love it. I love this film. Then this is coming from the point of view of someone who doesn't know anything about The Odyssey. I mean, I've got it on my shelf there, but have I read it? No, I have not yet.
Do you have Ulysses or is it Odyssey?
I got the Iliad, I got the Odyssey, I got Ulysses. But Ulysses is the James Joyce one.
It's basically the Roman version, and it's not very good.
But either way,
read the Homer. Read the Homer.
But that's a different thing. James Joyce's Ulysses is different. That's not ancient
I don't know
Greek.
enough about it.
It's not
Roman.
ancient Greek. It's Irish. Irish.
Oh, I have no idea.
That one, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, as far as I'm aware. But your point of view from going in The Odyssey, you're, again, I mean, I know I don't mean to put words in your mouth. You're not a Nolan guy. You've seen Nolan's films.
Yeah, I've seen Nolan films. Not as many as I would like. And all the ones I have seen have not been the best ones.
You've seen The Dark Knight?
Yeah, I love Dark Knight. Dark Knight was what got me into acting.
Have you seen Inception?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I remember it? Probably not a whole lot.
Have you seen The Prestige?
No.
You'd fuck with The Prestige.
Okay, I'll watch
That's
The
another
Prestige.
thing.
I'm not really. I'm not a film mark. I like film. I watch a lot of film.
Yeah,
I've watched
yeah.
a lot more films than I think I would have had we were not
Yeah.
been friends.
Yeah.
I'm more of a theatre guy, and I love Greek theatre. And reading Greek theatre, the Iliad and the Odyssey, and kind of like Homeric epics, kind of really tie into it. And to understand stuff like the Oresteia, you need to understand the Iliad.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's one. Sorry, this is my first talking point. The Oresteia features very heavily in this Odyssey film.
So do you like it? Do you like this film?
Yes,
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. I think we were never gonna get 100% of the stuff in the Odyssey, mainly as well because people dispute what actually. There's different versions of the myths, you know.
Well, yeah, because it's also debate if Homer even existed. It's also like, you know, it's so passed around as a story.
Yeah.
So there's never
So
like
I'm not upset about like things missing, and also they talked about the fact that Travis Scott being in the film as a bard represented the story being passed down and changed, which is how we ended up with Travis Scott. I guess.
Well, I like the mentality of like using like a modern day
singer,
musician, rapper as like a guy who's telling a story where in modern day rap and musicians are our modern day storytellers.
Yeah, exactly.
You look at again, it's like you look at people like a Kendrick Lamar or something
I was
like that.
about to say I can't wait to see him meet the Grahams. Odyssey.
But that is it. They're just sit round a campfire. Let me tell you a story, but for a modern day age
about Drake not being
a good dad, a good human being. Even.
Oh my god.
I'm so separate as well in terms of any quote backlash that this film was having pre film's release that I'm not even.
What backlash are we on? Oh, Elliot Page.
I'm gonna say like people complained about Elliot Page when they assumed that he was Achilles. People complain and outrage that Lupita Nyong'o was Helen of Troy,
who was fantastic. I thought.
Yes, which I'm not going to get into any of that in terms of like saying my point about it because I just think it's stupid. And it's just
can I flex on Film Bros and your comments about why Elliot Page would have actually been a fantastic Achilles cast?
I mean, you can throw that in right now if you want.
Okay, so prior to Agamemnon and Menelaus coming around to pick up soldiers for the Trojan campaign.
Yeah.
Achilles' dad, Peleus, did not want Achilles to fight because of the prophecy around Achilles dying young.
Okay.
So he dressed him up as a dancing girl.
Right, okay.
And made him dance around the halls. So you wouldn't have, it would have been an androgynous little femboy Achilles.
But also, Elliot Page is just a good actor, and who cares?
Blew
who cares?
The house away, I think.
Who cares?
I think he was fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll get to it. I'll get to those scenes. And all that stuff. And also the fact that if people look at Lupita Nyong'o and go like, you're telling me that that's the face that launched 1,000 ships. I'm like, if you do not find Lupita Nyong'o attractive at all, you're either... Well, no, you're just racist.
Yeah.
You're just a racist.
She's a beautiful woman.
You're just a racist person.
She's a beautiful woman.
If I'm being perfectly honest, you're not complaining because she's an ugly person. You're complaining because she's black.
She's a beautiful woman, a fantastic actress, and again, did fantastic in that role, in both roles.
I'd like to see her do more stuff because I think I don't feel like I see enough Lupita Nyong'o.
The last thing I saw him was she did 12th.
This is great. Oh yeah, she did
12th night at I want to say the Lincoln Center, but I don't think that's right. But for Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah.
And she was outstanding.
Yeah, very good actress.
Yeah.
But also other complaints, which I will because this feeds into like a bit of an actual comment about the film and why I think it actually does work. There was also complaints about when one of the trailers came out and everyone was complaining about the dialect and the use of language in this film of how like one, they're all speaking in American accents. And two, there's the bit of where Tom Holland goes, he says to Robert Pattinson, like,
what do you know about my dad?
What do you know about my dad? And everyone goes like, why would you say dad? And Tom Holland's response, which I do agree with, he goes like, I wouldn't say father because I would be Greek. Because it's like either, so if you complain about that, then what? And my thing with this is, and it's actually a bit of praise for this film, is that it's adapting the story. It's not
just
translating it.
Yeah.
It's not just doing it. It's adapting it for a modern audience. So it's using the Greek settings and everything, but it's an American production.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of when you think film and cinema, a lot of it is American voices.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you just do that? And again, they do use the Greek names, and they're, it's not fully adapted in terms of like they're not like it's not a medieval British. It's not like they're using Greek, the Greek language, Greek names, and Greek like locations and stuff.
From my point of view, because I hadn't seen any of the trailers really or anything.
I've only saw the first one, but I heard complaints that people.
I saw screenshots around and then loads of clickbait. This film's gonna suck.
Or like showing the armor goes, this isn't Greek accurate. It was like, who gives a fuck?
But I mean me, but like I don't,
but like that's not detrimental to like a quality film.
No, but this is the thing. Like my point was. At first it was like, oh Jesus, we're going to America, and there's like, you settle into it. It doesn't matter. Like
Tom Holland's putting on his American accent, Robert Pattinson's putting on his American accent, Matt Damon's sound like Matt Damon.
It was just because Tom Holland, I didn't expect to hear an American accent come out of his mouth. That's the only reason.
Well, he does. Well, he does Spider-Man, doesn't he?
Yeah, but it was just that first, like, cause he was the first, I guess, like notable face.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, we're going like this though, then.
Yeah,
and then it was fine. It was completely fine.
It's fine. What I mean, I said this to you when it ended. It's like although I feel like although I felt the length of this film, like in the sense I felt that it was 3 hours long, I wasn't like bored of the fact that it was 3 hours. I felt, which I think is a testament to the fact of like I felt that it was an epic. In terms of like Oppenheimer and this are the same length, like runtime. I felt Oppenheimer went by like it that like I didn't feel that was 3 hours, and that's a praise on that. Odyssey felt 3 hours, but that's not me saying that as a negative. That's me saying it's a positive because I feel like it's so rare that you feel grand epics now. And I know this is such like it's almost like the original epic, and it's like really like it's Nolan taking like such like I'm doing like when you think historical epic, this is what you would probably think of in terms of like not only is there big battles and armor and adventure on ships, but then there's also like fun fantasy elements on it, but not too like fantasy. Like we see a big ass cycle. By the way, should we just say spoilers? We're going to be talking spoilers.
We're talking spoilers.
If you don't know that, which I would say I didn't know the Odyssey, so if you're historically inept like me, then leave.
I would say it's a story. It's more like mythologically.
Mythologically inept. But obviously I knew of the Cyclops. I knew that was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the Cyclops looked like, and I didn't know what
the
portrayal of or how they were going to do it. Because obviously I also know Nolan is very opposed to doing CGI. There's one part in this film I was like, that's clearly CGI. And obviously I know there would have been CGI work in it, but I was like, but how the fuck are they going to do the Cyclops?
So yeah, the Cyclops Polyphemus is
Son of Poseidon, which I didn't know.
Poseidon, yeah. I'll get to my gripes with that. But it's just a weird thing to cut from the film. But anyway, yeah, like I think it was really well done. Every time I've seen the Cyclops done on screen or artwork or like especially if you go to galleries and look at like pictures of it, he's always a big meathead.
He was kind of, I mean,
he was a little. He looked like he was supposed to be like.
I guess big meathead.
It looks like he was going
to
be hanging outside a Hartlepool bus station. Like, do you know what I mean? But no, I liked it. It was very
the design in the sense of like the eye was like
flipped.
It was flipped, and his nose was also lopsided. It almost looked like a botched human face.
Yes,
is what it looked like, as opposed to like a mythical creature. It looked like it looked quite a horror creature. It
looked more horror film than Odyssey.
Yeah,
which I liked.
Yeah, and the way it was lit.
Yes,
and everything. Well, we'll talk narrative stuff, and then I can talk about technical aspects of this.
The nobody joke being cut, that was quite controversial for a lot of people. I think.
What?
The nobody joke.
The nobody joke.
I'll explain the nobody joke. So,
I think I heard about. Was it a pun?
Yes. So,
yes. I know why it was cut, by the way.
Yeah, me too. But I agree with it to some extent.
Did you watch the Jon Stewart interview?
No.
Okay, so that's what I know about it.
A lot of people have said to me that the film lacks any of the humor from the Odyssey.
I don't.
There is
speak upon this, and then
So Odysseus is quite a funny character. He does crack a lot of jokes and stuff like that. And to some extent in the Iliad, he is some of the comedic relief.
Okay.
Like there's a guy called Thersites who's like, I'm not fighting, I'm going home, and Odysseus just beats the fuck out of him.
Right,
And
okay.
it is like, although it's horrific, it's quite funny in context.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is the Cyclops and Odysseus do a deal, and the Cyclops is like, "What should I call you?" Polyphemus is like, "What should I call you?"
Okay.
And Odysseus says, "My name's No One."
Right.
And then when they're escaping the cave later on, the Cyclops calls for help. He's like, "I've been blinded," and the other Cyclops goes, "Who hurt you?" And he goes, "No one." And then he's like, "Shut up, then."
Right.
And
okay,
all the Cyclops
okay.
leave.
Okay.
And they cut that bit. But why it did irk me a little bit they cut it is because when Odysseus is leaving, he reveals his name. And that's one of the first signs of Odysseus' pride, and that's like a thing all the way through, that he's too prideful, that he thinks he can defy the gods.
Yeah.
And, especially because the tagline is defy the gods.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of defying the gods in there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that, like, what the thing that I had of when, like, because Jon Stewart brought it up, and then Nolan simply said, like, he's not, like, because obviously it's a pun, and when he's writing the script and adapted, he's like, it just didn't fit the way he's writing it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I have seen it work in modern adaptations.
But my point of view with that is like, but if you watch Nolan films, and if anything, I'm not saying this is a detriment to Nolan, he's not a very personal director or writer. Although there's elements in this film that I think contradict that, but he's not like the best. Almost like the things that stick out to a Nolan film is when he tries to be funny.
Okay,
and So and I'm not saying like he can't have a humorous film, but like if you think like the things that almost get made fun of with a Nolan film, I think like even like you look at like The Dark Knight, where the guy goes like, "What's the difference between you and me?" And then Batman goes, "I'm not wearing hockey pads." That it's memorable, but does that fit?
No, But
within it?
The thing that got me with it is like, if there's any actor to deliver the nobody line,
It'd
be Matt Damon. Because like he's going, nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like it could have. I think it could have worked.
What do we think of Matt Damon in this film?
I think he's great.
Yeah, I think so.
I've heard a lot of people say that they think the best casting for Odysseus that there could have been was a young Sean Bean. I think Matt Damon does a really stellar job.
Which is funny because Sean Bean played Odysseus in Troy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But he's fantastic in it. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But I genuinely think Matt Damon does a stellar job.
I heard Nolan talk about the fact of like, because I never like doubted and Matt Damon's worked with Nolan before as well. He was obviously in Interstellar and he was in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So this is a familiar face, and and I think Matt Damon's a good actor. Shout out Good Will Hunting, completely different.
One of my favorite films.
one of my favorites. But the reason of like Nolan said about like he cast Matt Damon obviously because he's a good actor and he can do this, but he is also a charismatic movie star. So again, this is. We talk about Travis Scott, his role, and you might be like, is Matt Damon the right role for this? It goes, yeah, for translating to a modern audience, as an audience member, Matt Damon is movie star. We've known him for decades now as movie star Matt Damon. So you put him in the lead of this. Not only is he like
Matt Damon.
Not only is he like the lead of a big summer historic epic blockbuster, but he is also someone that you would follow. Kind of thing, and he is someone that you can buy people being like, yes, I want to serve under this man.
Yeah, I think,
and I think he does a great job.
I think he's fantastic. I think he does a brilliant job, and
most of the film is him.
I think the only moments I ever it was when he was older.
Yeah, because it's just Matt Damon with a grey beard.
Yeah, like I was like, you don't look aged.
But also, it's like the way the film is like structured as well. To be fair, it is very Nolan-esque in terms of we're cutting so much in terms of like narratively, and which I heard is apparently also how the Odyssey is structured. Like
it's all over the place.
Yes,
for those that are unaware, which is totally fine because it's big ass. It's like $22.
I mean, I've got a little bit.
Yeah, it's like $22 in one big epic. Most of it follows Telemachus be like, "Where's my dad?" And then occasionally we get cuts to Odysseus being like, "And now I'm on a raft."
Yeah.
So
it kind of works if it would be like, oh no, like again, it is just Matt Damon with a grey beard.
It works so well with Nolan's out of order,
like
stuff.
fascination with time. And, but it also feels like how a story would be told.
Yeah,
where it's kind of like, and then this happened, and then this bit. Oh, but that happened because of, and now we're back to the, I'm used to it as a Nolan film, but also in terms of just as a viewer of stories, it's fine.
I'm so glad we cut is because for most of the Odyssey, Telemachus is sailing from island to island to island to find out stories of his dad. One was enough for me. I didn't want to go.
Which is fine as well.
And I'm glad they chose John Bernthal's Menelaus.
Who tells us something.
Who tells us something.
Tells
us a lot.
Tells us a
He's
lot.
like, I'm going to give you some exposition, brother.
Well, we're talking about like acting. I'll talk about John Bernthal, and I've said this before to you because we were on about how like we've heard things about like the Dog Day Afternoon Broadway play, and people going like, apparently Emma Moss Backrack's really good, and John Bernthal's just John Bernthal. Like, yeah, but John Bernthal's just John Bernthal in everything. It just depends what you have him in. In The Walking Dead, great. In The Bear, fucking phenomenal. As Al Pacino, I don't know.
And as Menelaus. Yeah.
And you know what? He is literally just John Bernthal, like, just kind of talking and giving his, like, you know, he's, again, not changing his accent and all. It's John Bernthal. But it kind of works, again, in the context of this version of the Odyssey, where everyone is, like, speaking modern day, they're speaking contemporary. He's not, like, big bruiser guy. He's just kind of like, I'm a muscular guy who fought war, and now I found myself as a king.
Yeah, and I could fully believe that Helen went, I need to get away from this dude. Like, you know, like, he's awful.
I could buy Helen would go for him.
Yes.
But I could also buy, like, fuck's sake, he's such like...
The first opportunity, like, I'm going to try. Like, you know, yeah, yeah. And also, like, there is a lot of, like, God, like, especially in Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida, there's a lot of meathead Menelaus references. Yeah. So I'm glad we got John Bernthal, who I think does a great job, and... There was one bit that got a chuckle from both of us, where it's like, out of all the soldiers in Troy, I really miss one. Odysseus. Look straight at Telemachus. Back to... It's like, I know who you are.
I get you.
Yeah. It's great.
Is there any other, like, to you, is there any other actors that stand out to you in this film?
Yeah. I mean, Anna Hathaway.
That was going to be the next one for me. Because I was trying to think about this, like, in terms of, like, performers. I'm like, yeah, Matt Damon's good. But I'm not sure if I would say he's very good. But when I think about, like, what's the performance that stuck with me? And upon the second view, I think Anne Hathaway is kind of, like, the one here.
The thing is, Penelope has such a fantastic story. She's often referred to as Odysseus' equal. Okay. The reason they got together is because there's no woman alive smart enough for Odysseus.
Yeah.
Apart from Penelope, who is smarter.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't really get to see much of that.
No, but like we didn't see much of Penelope and Odysseus together. But I feel like we got enough to understand what
the dynamic and
it's that one scene, and I think it's so well written again, and like in terms of dialogue exchange and also performance wise between Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway of when he tells her like if I'm still gone by the time he comes of age, remarry, she slaps him. Yeah. And then there's, I've seen this twice now. And the line that's said is like, I'm sure...
if you're gone, I don't need your permission.
No. I think she says to him, how about you promise me that you'll come back? And then he goes, but what if I can't? It goes, this is such a really well done piece of dialogue where he's saying like, you will need a king, so if I'm gone... by this point, you're gonna have to remarry because it's gonna be a fucking mess. And then he's going, that's right. He's saying, you need to promise me that. Promise me. And then she goes, well, how about you promise me you'll come back instead of trying to promise that as a thing. And then he goes, but what if I can't? That because it's great. And again, you learn so much about those two, that you get it.
Yeah.
That I'm fine. That now we can just have like Matt Damon do all his shit, like Odysseus do all of his stuff. And then when we go to Penelope, and in her scenes, when she's talking to Tom Holland, and again, there's the bit towards the end of when he tells her that you're going to have to remarry, and she's also like angry about that. And then Tom Holland goes like, do you want peace or revenge? And then she screams, I want Odysseus. Yeah. I was like, that's just great. That's a complex character, and I think Anne Hathaway does it very well. She does it in the very muted Nolan acting that Nolan is kind of known for, but also what Nolan's gotten better at recently, of giving some sort of like oomph to like giving performers, allowing them to like be a bit more extra and powerful without being like over the top.
Yeah. No, yeah, I just think she was fantastic all the way through.
Yeah.
And one person I want to talk about is Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of conflicted things on his acting. I think he does great.
He's very good. He's excellent. What I will say is, because I mentioned this to like Reese and Robbie and Anna. I said I saw it, and then Reese said like, "Oh, I've heard this is the first chance that Tom Holland has gotten to show to like really show his talent." I go, I mean, yeah, I guess he's not in it loads. So, I'm not saying that's a bad thing,
No.
but it's not like the big break. You know, this isn't Tom Holland's Oscar performance.
I think that, I mean, people who say this is Tom Holland's chance to prove he can do more than Spider-Man. Have you not seen Devil All the Time?
I haven't.
It's a fantastic film.
That film got a bit mixed though as well, didn't it?
I think it's brilliant.
Okay, I do need to give it a watch.
I think he's
do need to give it a watch.
stunning in it. I've heard he's really good in Cherry.
I haven't heard great things about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, good things.
Okay.
He's always been flat to me. I've never seen him great in anything. Not that I think he's bad, but I've never seen him great in anything. And this is like, to me, probably the best I've seen him personally, because he's got a bit more meat on the bone in terms of like
Emotional.
of a character. Yeah, and a purpose and everything. And he's not just a big strong hero guy.
Yeah.
Again, there's the moment like towards the end where he goes like when Odysseus is disguising himself as a beggar, and then he goes, so what's our plan? And he goes like, there's no we, I'll take care of this. You, because it's like, oh yeah, I can see him in the sense like, I can fight, I'll help. But it's like, nah, you're in over your head here, mate,
I think,
kind of thing.
as well, like, I think the second half of the film is where he shines the best.
Yes, I agree.
I think a lot of people made judgments on him very early on and then kind of stuck with that judgment.
But I think he's good throughout.
Yeah.
Like every time he's in it, he's not bad.
I think, as well, it might have been a tough role for him in the sense of, I think Telemachus is meant to be a bit younger. So
Okay.
he's, what is he, 30 now?
He's 30 now.
So he's 30-year-old
So he would have been
playing-
like 28, 29 when filming it.
Yeah, 28, 29. And he's playing like a 15-year-old effectively. And
But also, it's a movie.
yeah, you know, but it gets to a point where it's like, this is a grown man pretending to be a child. You know what I mean? Like,
But the
I'm
way
sure
the
it's
film
fine.
plays it, I don't like. It doesn't feel. This is what I mean. It's like he can. It's never outright said his age. Again, in the context of this film, it's never outright said how old he is.
Yeah.
You can. He looks youthful. Like Tom Holland looks young. He's not. He's not.
I think he looks
old.
great in this film.
He looks young, but he also comes across as like unexperienced. You know, he gives it. Because if you want to be nitpicky, Anne Hathaway's like 13 years older than him. So like, she's not even old enough to be his mother. But again, the performances of it goes like, well, the way they're acting together, I believe she's his mother.
Yeah.
I believe he's her son. And
regardless, I think he does great.
yeah, no, I
I
agree.
think it's good.
The other actor that I really want to say, because obviously to me it's Anne Hathaway and it's Robert Pattinson. Now I'm not sure if I'm just being biased because I'm a massive Robert
No, he's
Pattinson fan,
fantastic, I think.
but I think every time he's in it, he's just magnetic, and he's not playing mustache twirling villain, but he is kind of playing a bit like I'm the bad guy in this, because there's the bit like in the beginning where we first see him where he takes a sip of his drink and then just spits it back out with a grin. And it goes
Reminds me so much of, I forget
like,
his
he's
name.
giving a bit of Heath Ledger Joker,
He's
not
given
fully.
a little bit of like Walder Frey from Game of Thrones, and
I haven't seen it.
also a little bit. I forget his name, but the grimy king from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You know, the ones eating tomatoes and like.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
He's just a sniveling little shit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's about to say he was a shitbag.
Yeah.
Dirty little man. But
And one thing again upon my second view, and it's like he's only ever in Ithaca,
Yes.
and only ever like it's not like he's not doing master villain
can we
shit.
give him a moment for his fit as well? He is dressed impeccably. He looks great.
I mean, the costume design's great in this film. It's like really well done. I mean, I forgot the character's name, but the character that Benny Safdie plays.
Agamemnon.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fucking cool ass design. I know a lot of people saying that's not accurate to It's like, but does it look sick as fuck? Yes, it does.
He's got like a little vertebra going down the back.
So
of his,
if someone said it just looks like Batman but medieval, like you're like, yeah, and that's a bad thing, is it? and you don't like that?
I feel really bad because I read something being like Penny Safdie like worked for months to get the emotional depth of his character, and he's just a hulking figure in the background for most of the film.
No, but even that moment in the scene
In the
like,
underworld.
Yeah, it's fucking
that was good.
We'll get to those moments because I think those are the moments where I start like. I mean, get them now, right? Is there any other performance that like sticks out?
The dog.
Big up the dog, man.
The dog was
Big up the dog.
fantastic. That's a good dog.
Beautiful moment. I want to talk about the ending separately.
They found the crustiest dog they could. It's pretty crusty.
I don't know if it's real.
Did they have to crust up the dog?
I don't know if it's. Yeah, they would have crusted up the dog. They would have crusted it up.
This is a social media clip and up.
we need a Joseph Caslin dog. How can we get a Joseph Caslin dog?
Have you seen my dog? He's pretty me
I'm
and pretty
saying
crusty.
no, you as a dog. not a dog that you would own.
I'm gonna
you as a dog.
add to my IMDb credits just
Crusty dog.
crusty dog.
I was the crusty dog.
I was the dog in the Odyssey. But no, I agree. I think at some points it maybe was like an animatronic kind of.
Well, it's when he's breathing and
Yeah.
they laid him out and everything.
That
And-
he was pretty motionless, so I'm thinking maybe
Yeah,
like a puppet or a.
if not, very well trained dog. Very
Great
well
dog, yeah.
Good boy. Great boy.
The best boy.
The- the best.
Sorry. Only took us.
It took us half an
31
hour
minutes.
for a Trump. But so for me, I was immediately never bored by this film because that was like a percentage in my head. I'm like, okay, there's a chance that I could be bored by this, but I immediately wasn't. And what like really like I think like the first scene that really like got me like like all right was the Cyclops bit. Because again, that's the first moment of like, okay, I get the big scale and the spectacle and the amazing cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema, probably my favorite DOP. Same guy who shot her.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he's done all the Nolan films since Interstellar.
Thank you for explaining for me, because I.
He's amazing. He's an amazing eye visual. He also did Tinker Tail's Horror Spy, which I haven't seen, but I've seen screenshots and it looks sick. But so apart from like being appreciative of all that. As soon as the Cyclops comes in, I'm like, how are they going to do it? Like, because I haven't seen anything of the Cyclops yet. Because I didn't watch any of the trailers, really. Or, like, not many of them. And then, obviously, seeing the design. And, like, from what I can gather, because I've seen a behind-the-scenes thing of it now, like, they had a giant puppet.
Yes.
So from my understanding, and obviously that's not shown in the film, from what I assume, they probably had the puppet, so all, like, the army could have something to act to. And then they cast a guy, and then they did some like perspective stuff, and then they did movie magic and overlaid
I think
him.
as well.
But it never looked like a big CGI man.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the Odyssey in general is I've seen many stage productions of it, and the Cyclops scene is always a bugger.
Yeah,
Like,
because what are you gonna do?
I've seen some really creative ways of doing it.
Yeah.
But I think Nolan did it really well, and I think a moment as well for the noises that came out of that thing.
Oh my god!
Oh, half the cinema covered their ears.
Bone chilling.
Yeah.
Bone chilling. Well, no, the audio in because I've seen it in two cinemas. The audio in the view wasn't as low.
No.
I saw on Tyneside in 35mm, and that was. It was like so different sound
There was
systems.
a man of advanced age behind us who looked like he was going to pass away during that section.
I think but also in that moment. So yeah, it got to that point. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is grand and big. But what I realized, in that moment, fuck, this is Nolan is doing a horror scene here.
It's like a horror epic.
He's done it in this moment. It's structured like a horror film in the sense of it's dark, it's lit by firelight, and it's the sound. It gets mute. He knows when to keep quiet. He knows the suspense to everything about that section is a horror moment.
Yeah.
And again, the girl screams. It's unlike anything else I've heard in terms of for this kind of a creature. And again, what made me feel really I don't know how to describe it. It's when it's after. So he's been blind. They're all leaving, and then Odysseus decides to be a little shit and fires his bow at.
I was going to ask you about that.
I
I
missed
missed
what
that.
are you doing?
I missed that moment. Was that Odysseus firing?
Yes,
Okay,
Odysseus
yeah.
fire. So it's they all left, and then the Cyclops threw a crushed helmet,
Yeah.
and then Odysseus was like, right, fine, fuck you, and then he fired an arrow at the Cyclops.
Contextually, I have an issue with that moment, which is just, I think
It does feel a little bit of our character for Odysseus through
is
the whole thing.
smarter than that.
Yeah.
I can, with the nobody bit,
Yeah.
I can get him being aha, I'm so clever, I want you to know it was me. The arrow didn't really.
It felt more like I'll fight you back. I was like, you're risking so much for this. For what's
especially later on when
it feels very impulsive.
Yes,
but maybe that
He's
could be
not.
But I guess that can maybe be looked upon as this is early into their we're
journey.
coming back.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like, fuck, okay, I guess I've learned
was
from
the
that.
only real big character moment. I was like, this doesn't feel like Odysseus.
Yeah. Maybe after he sees the consequences that happens, it's like, oh yeah, men have died now because I was because of my impulse.
I mean,
there.
it doesn't have a huge bearing on the
and
film.
it's and the scene of when he's chasing them, and the way that the film is chose to be shot in that moment, it's not. We don't see big wides. We're up close with them, and we just hear the sight. Again, there's the moment where I think we're like close up on like Odysseus trying to get back in the boat, and the camera's within the water, and just in the back we see the Cyclops smashing through trees and shit. I'm like, that is horrifying.
Yeah.
And the only other bit, so that happened, and then I was like, okay, that was cool, that was class, and then we get through. And then we move on, and we get to the bit of Cersei, which I didn't know what was going to happen here, Joe. So this is my understanding of the Odyssey is I knew about the Trojan horse, I know about that shit. I know there's a Cyclops. I don't know anything else, like in terms of narratively or storyline or what else happens. But obviously, I know it's like, okay, it's mythological, it's fantasy.
Let me tell you something. John Buff.
All right, John Burns.
Cersei is
played by Samantha Morland in this film, who is fucking excellent,
fantastic. Cersei is maybe for me the most important character in the Odyssey, and I thought she was done a massive disservice by her role. Okay. So, the reason Cersei's big, we're going to skip around a little bit here.
That's fine.
So Cersei's big for quite a few reasons. The first is she was just presented as a witch in this film. She is actually a goddess.
Okay.
She's a minor goddess. She's a sea nymph.
I'll explain in that point from what about you explain that bit, but I'll explain why I think that's beneficial for this film.
Okay. Why I think she's important is a lot of the things that Odysseus encounters in this film is because of Cersei.
Okay.
So Scylla, who is the monster that eats 6 crew members, was created because of Cersei's magic.
Yes.
Cersei cursed Scylla and caused that fuck up, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
The sun cows that they eat, that dooms them, they belong to Cersei's dad, Helios.
Right.
And there's so many more things that spoilers for any future Nolan film / Odyssey adaptations.
I mean, they're not going to do another.
Odysseus and Cersei have a child.
Okay.
Because they stay there a lot longer than the film showed.
Okay.
They have a child called Telegonus. Telegonus. And he has his own book called The Telogeny. And, yeah, God, it's another epic that's... anyway, Telegonus ends up killing Odysseus.
Right.
By accident.
Right.
And I just feel like for such a pivotal character in mythology, there's so much cut there, like, I don't know, I just think some reference to, why are we on this random island for a moment? You know, because contextually, without of it, it's just like, we'll go at this island. Anyway, she's now going to give us context to go at the underworld. Yippee! You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There was a lot more fate and reason behind it in...
The way it comes across more with this film is like they're going from island to island, they're on a journey home and they're just doing stops, and that's kind of just what that is. I'll explain I'll explain I'll talk about this scene. And so I don't know anything about Cersei. I don't know anything about my reaction was like, oh shit, Samantha Morton, because it's like there's sometimes I knew they had a fucking huge cast in this film, but there was like some actors where like I forgot they were in it. Like I forgot Mia Goth was in this film until like she appeared. I was like, oh shit, yeah,
she's Mia Goth in this film.
She's Penelope's.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. No, I did know that.
I forgot as well that Benny Safdie was the big fucking guy until like he took his helmet off. I could see that fucking fro.
Yeah,
it's Benny Safdie.
I was like, when's Benny Safdie going to start? And there I saw the helmet. I was like, it's been you. Yeah.
So there's some actors where I was like, I forgot that. So I forgot Samantha Morton was in this film. Who was the original? Who was the on-set voice of Samantha in Her?
Yes, I knew that. Yes,
which is why she's listed as an executive producer in that film because Anyway, so when that happens, and then like they're fucking like they're eating, and then something. I think I knew it was okay. Something's gonna happen because it's like leave your weapons and armor out, and then like they dump their armor, and then they also see like there's other armor there, and they still continue going along. Again,
I had a slight issue with that because like you probably should be like no at that point.
You're like, there's something.
Might just keep a dagger on me.
But
just
again,
in case.
This is almost like that. It's almost horror logic what's happening here. We're almost trying to get past the thing to be like. Also, it's very easy for viewers to go like leave, but like if you're in the moment and all that stuff.
I feel like if it was me though, I'd be like, that's a little.
Again, it's easy to say,
yeah.
Joe. It's easy to
that's
say.
True.
You'd be like, oh well, this is interesting. Anyway, food's getting made.
Yeah.
And then we're cutting back from that, and then Odysseus hunting for food, hunting an elk, and then shit's happening, and then we see like. Samantha Morton's hand go across. I forgot the actor's name, but
plays Eurylochus.
Yeah.
His name as well.
Goes across his ear, and then he was in the Yesterday film, the one about the Beatles. Yes. And then
great credits though.
Yeah.
Great leap.
I think he was in something else. I was like, oh shit, yeah. It might have been in another Nolan film, and I can't recall. Might have been Tenet. Anyway, and then you see like what turns out to be a pig's ear, and then like when Odysseus he goes and he sees like what was an elk is now a man, and then you go, oh okay, change them into animals. To one of the most batshit insane scenes I think has ever been featured in a Nolan film, maybe ever featured in this big of a budget film. I think this is one of the, like, apart from being a big grand epic, this is Nolan's weirdest film to date, which is why I think I love it so much, because film can afford to be fantastical and weird, because it's yes, you can. There is escapism that I'm not saying all film needs to be escapism. I think some film can be beneficial to just be, reflections of life. But in terms of a big fantasy epic, why not go fucking weird? And we see horrifically close-up shots, beautifully done practical effects of faces turning into pigs. We're looking at like this half and half stage, and it's not just a simple fact of like they're transforming into pigs. She's molding them into animals, and eyes are bulging out, and it's just the sickest fucking thing that I've seen in so long.
It's genuinely disgusting.
The sound design's horrid. It's just like grotesque.
Yeah, I remember. Sorry,
no, I was going to say
the food. When they go in eating that food, it's grim, it's gross, and it gets worse and worse. And I'm like, oh, can we end this end? Like,
no, it's like
it
so
good.
like
yeah, it's really good.
It's a truly horror moment. Again, and then again when they go to they talk to the people from the underworld, and then they all rise from the sand, and Elliot Page is there and all in his like muddied face, and then with the blood on his mouth, and then speaking and I'm like, I'm looking at this and I go like, this is fucking amazing, and this is why I've always wanted Nolan to do a horror film. And now I understand he's also recently said, like, because he's had many questions, but like, so a horror film when he goes like, yes, a horror film is something I always want to do. I just haven't found the story yet. Which is fair. But the fact that he was able to make 3 very distinct kind of horror moments in this film and so well, like not just like, oh, that's horror adjacent. These are horror moments and 3 different kinds of horror.
Yeah, as I said, that this third one in the underworld is so calm, it's scary,
and it's like lit. It's kind of Robert Eggers.
Yeah,
it's kind of Robert Eggers the way
really
that's
actually,
and again, and there's something about that's just so like, I don't know, that just really like cinematically spoke to me. Like that, I was like, oh, this is what's really grabbing me. And this is why I guess the Odyssey is so fucking like, why it's still going to adapt it 3,000 years later, is that beneath the fantasy mythology and beneath like the ancient like time period, it is a story about how humans react to shit, and how humans take on certain things.
Now that you mentioned Robert Eggers, Willem Dafoe wouldn't have a place in this.
He would have been good. I don't know where. He might have been a good blind man. Which, you know what, John Leguizamo also fucking phenomenal.
Oh god, yeah, you know,
one of my favorite performers in this film.
Yeah, Eumaeus. He would have been a really good Eumaeus.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? The underworld segment is another bit historically that I have a bit of criticism for.
Okay.
Because it's a very emotional part in the Odyssey where Odysseus, tells his men, like, get away from the edge, don't speak to any ghosts except the ones we need to speak to.
Yeah.
And instantly gets face to face with his mother, who he hasn't realised has passed.
Okay.
He's on his way home to see her.
Okay.
And he's going through there and was like, is that?
Right.
Like, so it is a very emotional moment because he's like, I've just told my men not to.
Yeah.
And he confronts his mother, speaks to his mother, and he confronts Achilles, and they have a moment where Achilles...
Who's not in this film.
Yeah, who's not in this film. Who I don't like the absence of.
From my point of view, watching this film, I don't know how many more shit I needed in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more needed to be added in this film.
Yeah, well, I think there's something quite nice about the absence of Achilles, because...
He's mentioned, so it's not like he's eradicated existence-wise.
No, but there is quite nice, like, there's this legend that we hear about, and we hear about everything he does, but we never get a glimpse of him.
Yeah.
It makes him a bit more, of a myth.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But I just think, especially the moment of that, realising, oh my god, I'm never going to see my mother again because I've been dicking about on the ocean for so many years. It's quite nice.
I guess the point of the film is more so about him trying to get back to his family, like, to home, as opposed to, like...
I also really love... This is not a thing, sorry, this would pivoting.
Go for it.
This is not a thing in the original text, but I am glad that they talked about because it's beautiful. This thing of Odysseus not wanting to go home.
What, in this?
Yes.
Does he?
He does. He says that part of him wasn't ready to go home.
Well, I guess that's why he's fucking around with Charlize Theron for a while.
Yes,
Which also is another great sequence in this film.
Again, Calypso felt a little bit underexplored. She felt a little bit like, I'm here for context, but yeah.
But I do you know what I almost appreciate with this film is like there's so many different people and so many characters that a lot of them are like shine upon, but they all feel lived in, and it almost feels a bit like, oh, any one of these could have had a whole film about them, and they didn't. But also, like, they all feel lived in. Like again, Charlize Theron is very lived in. I feel like we could have had a whole thing with Rob Pattinson and Mia Goth and like all that shit going on, and like we could have stuck with Tom Holland a lot more if there's a feature film in every character in this film.
There's someone we forgot to mention acting wise.
I mean, there's so many fucking people in this.
Zendaya picked up the easiest paycheck of her
No,
career.
I was gonna get to Zendaya.
Yeah.
And it's context wise and why I think it's really fucking cool.
I think she was great. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, but also she is there. But what and again, this is a contradiction to what you're saying. Like, Cersei's a god in this, in the text. What I like about this depiction is because obviously Zendaya is portraying Athena.
Yes,
she's the only goddess that we see embodied in this film, and all we see is when she talks to Odysseus. Gods are mentioned and gods are talked about, but even gods are even mentioned in terms of like, even Odysseus goes like, that's bullshit to something. Yes. So even religion is a point of contention and skepticism within this film as well. But even though it's mentioned, and it's like he's Poseidon's son. We never see Poseidon, but we see what is like
he's in the Cyclops.
The Cyclops, yeah. But we see what is apparently Poseidon's son. So why do we see? But what I like about this is like, but Zendaya is shown as someone that was murdered within the part of the Trojan War. And to what I take for that is that Odysseus found guilt about the actual carnage that was caused. Obviously, you can go, he's, the hero of the Trojan War and yada, yada, yada. But what Nolan does beautifully, and he even did it within Oppenheimer, the complexity of war and the complexity of like, what's the point of this kind of thing? And it goes like, and to me, Zendaya that's not Athena, that's who Odysseus portrays as Athena, because it's Athena, goddess of war, right?
Wisdom and war, but in strategy rather than violence.
Right. So he's associating, obviously, this, and this is, in my opinion, this is Odysseus looking at this woman that probably had no right to be murdered, but he couldn't step, it adds an extra level of complexity to the fact of like, he's not seeing Zendaya as Athena. I don't think Zendaya is Athena. I think Zendaya is Odysseus's depiction of Athena based off like his experience within war.
Right, yeah.
So if Cersei was just a god, it's like, oh, we've outright now just said gods exist, as opposed to we're depicting gods.
I agree, and I think that's right, but Calypso's also a god. So
Calypso?
Charlize Theron.
But is she actually depicted as?
Yes, because on the island she says, we'll have this forever. But Odysseus says, forever's only for gods, to her.
Yeah, okay. But also, I get if I'm pulling devil's advocate for that. Does anyone else see her? Or is it just Matt Damon and he's washed up?
That is true, but then what's the context for?
I agree. I agree. Or is it like a thing where like maybe he's washed up and she saved him and he's just, maybe he's, again, embodying the fact that he survived?
Yeah, potentially. I
don't know. But there is also a bit of backstory where she claimed... We never see backstory of her. We do see her find him.
Yes. From
her point of view. So that's just fan speculation talking. But I think
theory would really hold up if it wasn't for Charlize Theron's.
Yeah, no, I guess. Yeah.
Or even just that line being delivered.
Yeah. But also that's just... Yeah. I don't know, yeah. He's an interesting one in terms of like what he attaches faith to.
Yes. For me, though, like, the exclusion of the gods is... I think how they handled the gods was really good, actually. I'll say this point first.
As like speculation and story kind of thing.
Kind of. So, in more so the Iliad, but also the Odyssey, a a lot of the times when gods present themselves, they don't just appear, because there's a lot of myths about gods just appearing to mortals and then the mortals exploding because they can't handle seeing a god.
Yeah.
So what they do is they inhabit a person
Mm-hmm.
and then they speak to the person through a person,
Mm-hmm.
which is really nice because Tom Holland makes a lot of reference to saying you have the eyes of Athena.
Yeah.
And a lot of times
And then the line that he says, which I fucking love so much, he goes like, "Don't look at, don't see gods in the eyes of men, you'll be disappointed."
yes,
Which I think a lot of people need, even today, need
yes,
a fucking handle.
beautiful line.
Which is also funny because I'm seeing it. I'll get back to you. I'm sorry to.
No.
But
Go,
there's
go.
point. I've seen interviews of like people talking to Nolan and like I forgot the guy's name, but he's a known presence online in film, and he said, and he was interviewing Nolan, and he's mentioned the fact how in his 2008 journal, like film journal, of when talking about The Dark Knight, he said directed by Christopher Nolan in brackets, aka God. And obviously Nolan laughed about it, but also it's like maybe don't idolize filmmakers
true.
as like, which I think is very funny that a comment like that got made in an interview about this film, where a line in it says, "Don't look at, don't see God in the eyes of
Nolan
man."
had that interview and he went home and was like, I'm just gonna add something.
He
to
probably is sick of like, I'm just a guy who makes films that I like.
100%. But like I think that it's really nicely handled because there's it's one of the more jarring scenes in the book where Telemachus goes to Odysseus like, there's something weird about this room. I can feel the presence of a god in it.
Yeah.
And Odysseus goes, shut up, do not acknowledge the gods. Because they will smite you for acknowledging them or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's really nice that, they handled gods in the way of that they're hiding in people and presenting.
Yes.
Which is such a...
Which is also Zeus's law, and that's like mentioned throughout the whole film.
Yeah,
as well.
it's called Xenia, and it's really
Yeah.
important because it's what started the Trojan War. Because
Right.
Xenia was broken because Helen was kidnapped at a banquet.
Right.
So it's a theme all the way through, like respect for others and everything like that. So I think that was really nice handle. However, for me, the exclusion of Poseidon and a lot of we didn't even talk about him a whole lot in the film.
No.
I thought was really weird because
Poseidon was quite like pivotal in the sense of like now the sea and the winds against them, and that is like a factor throughout the whole film.
Yes. But this is what gets me with it, is that the voyage started with the Odyssey because Odysseus and his men forgot to honour Poseidon before their travels home.
Right, okay.
And he took offence to that.
Yeah.
And for me, the greatest mine in Greek history getting lost on the way home was just a bit like, when Poseidon's against them and turning them around, it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
But just for them to get a little bit lost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I want to talk about like the final part of this film.
Yes, go for it.
Because I think it's one of the best fucking endings to a film. It felt old school in a way of like, fuck, this is why I like stories. Not just film, but this is why I like storytelling. Of again, it's the trial of like whichever suitor can string this bow and fire the arrow, and it's like already it's like we've set this up through the whole film and it's coming together so beautifully, and we get a montage of a load of blokes like, fucking shit, no one can do it, and then like Rob Pattinson's like talking shit, goes, well, why don't you do it? And then goes like, I'll wait my turn.
I adore the fact he didn't even give it a go.
Yeah,
but
I also like, but from his point of view, like, that's such a very good point. If you're in his shoes, and then like John Leguizamo was like, go on then. Oh no, it's Tom Holland. I think it's like, off you go then. He goes like, okay, I get the point you're trying to make. No one can be Odysseus.
Such a shitbag. Like,
no one can be Odysseus. But let's just, again, he doesn't even try. He goes like, I know I can't do it, but I don't want to show everyone that I can't do it. Let me try to talk my way out of it. See, no one can do it. And then the beggar in the back, I haven't tried.
I think the setup with Antinous being like a hunting boy for Odysseus as well.
Yeah.
Really worked.
Yeah.
Again, that's an invention, I think, of Nolan, but
It's fucking works so... And again,
works
how
so
they
good.
make the link between him and Senon.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, just like so cool and shit like
Yeah.
that. And that's the one thing that like gets him angry as fuck of when when Odysseus as the beggar drops the twig thing or whatever.
What's it called? The
lottery.
It's like
thing.
a pole.
Yeah,
what's the word for it? Like a lot.
A lot. Yeah, and he goes like, and he's again. I think Rob Pattinson performs that whole sequence phenomenally as well. And then it's like again, Matt Damon, Odysseus struggles a little bit, probably because he hasn't done it in so long and he's weak. And then, but he could. Then he strings it.
Yeah.
And then twice now I've seen this without fail. Every time that happens, and then everyone goes, you can see the fear on Rob Pattinson's face, like, fuck, that's Odysseus. And then and Penelope's already walked away at this point because she's like, this is it's nothing, and then the prong.
Hey, not like
It happens.
That's so good.
It's that
Yeah.
chills every time because that's just fucking narrative perfection.
Yeah. Rule 3 as well. We get it
Yes,
3 times throughout the film.
yeah,
and
exactly,
it's
yeah.
beautifully paced, I think. Beautifully split up.
And then and this is why I also appreciate. He then goes to ham on all of them, but then he does get overpowered because he is just one guy. He might be fucking hot shit, but he is just one dude.
Well, this is the thing. So there's always a debate about
he's not a superhero.
when Odysseus does it's called like the Battle of the Suitors or whatever, or the Killing of the Suitors, about whether the gods got involved, because how does he do it? Do you know what I mean? So a lot of adaptations of it, he kind of goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
you know.
I like this version where
it felt very real.
But it's also a world with cyclopses and sirens and witches that you can suspend disbelief, like, oh yeah, this is his like amazingness, but also it's like he is also not Superman.
We also got a beautiful 1v1 with Telemachus, who used the technique he was taught 5 minutes into the film.
Yes.
Lovely bit of storytelling.
Very great.
This is the bit for me where Tom Holland really starts to shine. This last sequence. Just once he's like, I can't remember, does he cut the dude's throat? And he's just kind of standing there.
He does like a...
And he's pissing blood, and he just looks so proud of himself, and he's like, Dad, and drops a sword to the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the film's also done very well. It is a 15, and it's not like... But it's not gory.
Yeah.
No. It's 15 because there are moments where like there is a throat stab, but it's not gushing with blood or anything. It's not over the top. It's tasteful. I think it's very tasteful.
I think it's the right
And there's also
level.
2 fucks dropped in this film, which which is funny to me.
I can only remember one of them.
I forgot who said it. Did John Bernthal
It's
say
got to
it?
be John Bernthal.
No, I think Matt Damon did.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again tonight.
Yeah,
I'll
let me know.
The 2 fucks was said
edit
by...
them in here.
The 2 fucks was said by... But then... and then obviously and then why I also love the fact of like how it's like as he starts killing more and more people, he doesn't wipe all. There's more people that start going, I'm going to bow.
Yes.
Because in mine, like I'd rather live for Odysseus than die for fucking what's his name, Rob Pattinson. What's his name?
Antinous.
Antinous. Yeah, I'd rather live for
I
Odysseus.
only learned how to say his name recently. I've been saying Antonius. It's Antinous.
Again, I can go Rob Pattinson, and then eventually gets to the point where there is a good amount of people that are just bowed for
his
him.
death. Sorry, on Antinous. Satisfying.
Loved it.
Good.
Loved it.
For a
Shoved the
second,
stick and then just.
For a second, I was really scared it was going to be really weak. And then I see the pole come out. And
I forgot I forgot the line that was said. There's so many great like lines within this film. It's like I give you back your shame.
Yeah,
or something
tell
like.
Sinon I return your shame to you. Or something like that. Yeah.
When you go
Lovely.
to Hades, tell So it's just beautiful.
Good stuff.
And I'm so glad he didn't die as well. Again, I didn't know the end of it. I'm so glad Odysseus didn't die because in my head, there's certainly a world where he dies in the arms of Penelope. There is that version of that story where that happens, and that kind of makes sense. But I think it's a bit of a cop out. But it's like no. I'll live, and we'll go to the west, chase the sun, and honor our men.
Again, to be a history note, it is a deviation from the actual ending of the Odyssey, but for like
an isolation of this
version. I was just saying, literally for an isolated IP, perfect ending.
Yeah, and the last shot is of a fallen Trojan horse, which I think says more. Okay, this is once again another Nolan film about the the troubles that war can cause to man.
Yes.
And I mean man as in human. I don't mean man as in men. I mean man as... It's another one of those that Nolan's done. Again, he's done Dunkirk, he's done Oppenheimer, and he's done this. It's another... Again, you could... Because, I don't know. That's what I gathered from it. I was like, well, that's clearly what it's about then.
Yes. I have to say, though, sorry, going nerd time, this is a very sanitized version of the Odyssey in the sense of it... doesn't portray what an absolute shitbag Odysseus is by the end of it.
Yeah, well, no, because that's not that. Yeah.
No, because for me, the Odyssey is about getting what you want, and are you the same person when you get what you want? For the sense of Odysseus all the way through is like, I want to go home and see my wife.
Yeah.
And he finally does, and he's not the same man by the end of it, because after the Battle of the Suitors, there's the hanging of the maids, which Odysseus
Right.
goes, new slate, I'm going to hang all my servants,
Right.
who are completely innocent
Yeah,
in all of this.
Yeah.
Um,
But also, yeah, I don't know.
we do get a little bit of it with Mia Goth's character, with
Well,
Penelope.
Penelope
shutting her
goes
out.
like, I think you belong more in here. Does she get killed? We never see. I don't know.
I imagine probably so.
But we never see her outcome, actually.
No.
from my memory.
But in the original, translation,
Yeah.
Telemachus and Odysseus, hang
Yeah.
the serving girls and servants,
Yeah.
and it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's meant to be horrible.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Odysseus is now a monster. He's not a man anymore.
Yeah.
And Telemachus is even like, I've wanted my dad all these years, and now he's asking me to do this horrible task. Is this what I really want?
Yeah.
It's about, do you ever really want what you want? I feel like we didn't get that with this, but again, is it that story?
That's that's a good perspective in terms of like from your side of it as like a Homer adaptation. As a Christopher Nolan film, he's very. You can see he does a lot of things about throughout his films. It's about a father trying to return home to his family. He's done that within.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that within in the cellar. I think you could look at that easily within the Batman films about how a son no longer has a father and what that can do to him. Inception is about a father trying to get back to his children through all sorts of subconscious shit.
I'm going to turn off half your audience here, but I'm just scared that Nolan is taking a film about, decisions and their consequences and potentially turned it into appealing to men who wish they had a better relationship with their father.
I don't think it's actually that. I think it's him as a father who has been open in the sense of like he goes away for a long period of time to make a film that that is what he wants to do and that is what calls to him, but he also does miss his family, but also what's also quite and that's another one of these films. That's another film about a father went off to do something that calls for him, but now he has to come back. But also what's interesting in terms of perspective, what I've learned about this, because obviously Emma Thomas is his wife and has produced all his films, but also this is the first, he has 4 children, and apparently all 4 of them worked on this film as well. So this was the first time that an entire Nolan family has worked within a film, and more than anything, I think you can look at that film, again, it is an optimistic ending.
Yes.
The film ends with we've went through the shit, but now we're back together. And we may have been wounded and we're tired from it, but we've all done this together.
I'm just scared that it's been sanitized to the point where people will take the wrong message from it, like Fight Club or Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't think it's that kind of a film.
I just think it's potentially like, I can do bad things as long as it's for the good of my family.
But you know what? But I think it won't be that, because Odysseus never did anything that was not unforgivable. He did war shit. Yeah, but he wasn't J. Robert Oppenheimer.
That's true, but also
he was a Marty Supreme.
They did sanitize what they did to like the Saconis and the Lystragonians.
Yes, but what I mean in terms of the context of within this film, in terms of like, yes, I guess you could look at that in terms of like, are we saying this is good? It's like, no, because if you look at this as the isolated work, Odysseus within this version was a leader who wanted the best.
Well, it's just the thing, because it is an adaptation, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just what is the message now if it was not what Homer originally intended?
Well, that's Homer's message.
Yes. So what is now the message?
What's Nolan's message within this? Well, I think it's another link. It's another chapter in Nolan's like caution on war and caution on what like. Because again, it's another example of like a man fucks around with nature and look what happens. So again they fuck around and then Poseidon gets pissed off, or like in that instance they fuck around. Look what men fuck around with women. What happens to them? They get turned into pigs.
Yeah.
Men fuck around with like others, animals. What fucking happens? So it's there's a lot to take away from it. It goes like, again, it's chat shit, get bit.
Yeah.
But also like what someone would do, like the amount of things one man would do to get back to what truly matters.
Okay. Yeah. I think as a standalone, yeah.
Yeah, that's what this to me, what Nolan did and what was shown in this film, that's what can be taken away from this.
Okay, fair enough.
But also what I think could be taken away from this is just amazingly grand epic time at the cinema. That doesn't happen often.
I think I think that's the general takeaway, is that it's a fantastic film. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Hugely enjoyable.
Taking a timeless story and continuing and making it and getting us on board. The fact, I get it. I know what I'm in for. It's narrative.
Yeah, but I think
and it's purest.
Yeah, narrative. It's purest and a cinematic spectacle. However, it is an adaptation.
Yeah.
Not a retelling. And because of that, it does lose, even without all, with all the cuts, disregarding all that, you still lose a little bit of the original meaning. So it's important to look for Nolan's meaning, not Homer's.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, and I think. I mean, I'd be very shocked if anyone tries to look at this as well, this is the Odyssey, right? This is Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I think you're a fool if you. I
think you got to say it's Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
But I think, but there's also many different Odysseys.
It's like looking at the SpongeBob movie and being like,
that's an Odyssey.
Well, does SpongeBob come home a monster and show what?
The Coen brothers did their version of The Odyssey with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
That is true. Apparently, that's a very, very good adaptation of it as well.
I mean, I didn't know fucking anything about it. I mean, I want to rewatch it.
I've never seen it, so.
But it's like it's like a folk song traveling.
Oh, I know
film.
what it is.
Yeah. But
But
I'll be interested in rewatching it again. Though.
Yeah.
But yeah, good film. I think that's pretty much our thoughts on The Odyssey as of now.
I like it as a standalone, as a classic snod. I'm a little bit upset, but I'll get over myself. Good job, Nolan.
Yeah,
good job. You're probably gonna get an Oscar.
In my opinion, it's Nolan's best film since Inception. That's where my point is.
That's a question. Do you think any Oscar shouts in there?
Right now, yes, but
For
also production design, costume, cinematography, sound design. Maybe Anne Hathaway.
I think
directing.
Maybe Rob Pattinson.
I don't know. But here's the thing: we've also, as of now, but also we've got Dune 3 to come.
Yeah,
we've got other.
God, what a year for Robert Pattinson.
Very good. He also plays. He's also playing Chris Hansen.
Oh no, yeah.
Which I think, if any film he's going to get nominated for, it might be that one, because that sounds more like a performance-based film.
Imagine he gets 2 noms and he gets.
The Oscars have now allowed that to happen.
So you might get. I think you might get Sporting for this. Maybe because it's the 3rd one.
Mate, we'll see.
God, he could get a few.
He could get a few.
But yeah.
But that's our thoughts on The Odyssey. What do you guys think of The Odyssey? Comment below. Let us know. If you like the video, make sure to give it a like and share. Helps out and all that jazz. In the link, in the description below as well, you can find links to the Crazy Stupid Kino Instagram page, as well as both our Instagrams.
Oh, I get a little mention?
You're in there.
You're in beautiful.
There. Yeah, you can follow Joe on Instagram and whatever he does. I also put my letterbox down there. Should I put your letterbox down there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's pretty trash.
I mean, you can see what we both. You're active enough on there.
Yeah. Also, if you don't like me, let Oscar know, because then he'll never ask me to do one of these again, and I can go home and play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly. If you like the video, give us a subscribe as well, where you can see much more things of me talking about films, and maybe in the future Joe can appear on again at some point.
You're never asking me back, are you?
No, there's something.
Oh God, it's going to be Minions versus Monsters.
It's still out in the cinema, Joe. We can still fit it in.
We can go right now. We can go right now.
I don't think we can. Until next time, I shall see you later. Goodbye.